were saying to Britain, shame on you. You will never be our friend because you are a colonizer. How do you give other people's land through a simple short letter that the rest will see what they do, but you guys, here is your portion. Allocating the land of the Palestinians without their consent.
Now, the violation of the rights of the Palestinians through the occupation of their land, through bringing in settlers.
Arabs from nearby countries started immigrating, and they call themselves Palestinians. They reconstructed history and said, we've been here for centuries. It's our land. It's not your land. It's been our land for 3,500 years.
You cannot say you want peace when you know that you took something from these people. Because this is an apartheid state. It's exactly like what South Africa was fighting for, and we achieved it.
They're killing innocent people, children, taking people's homes, taking their lives for no reason at all, which is not right.
We have a very sound relationship with the people of Palestine. You will recall the struggle, the Palestinian Liberation Organization with the relationship of the oppressed people of South Africa. So we can't say today, when you are in government, we will then be confused about who are the oppressed people in Palestine and Israel. There's no conflict there.
None of our unions are going to lift any Israeli goods out of any transport. Why is it all right for a Palestinian journalist to be murdered, but it's not okay for a journalist from Canada to be murdered? What kind of value system is that? Comrade Teralekota said that Israel is not an apartheid state. The Palestinians are denied free exit and entry into their own land. They do not have free movement. Palestinian people use separate entrances when they go through the border. So I don't know what more Israel should do for Comrade Lekota to recognize that it is an apartheid state.
And people under occupation who have been waging a struggle against an oppressive government that has occupied their land, but also a government that has in recent times been dubbed an apartheid state. As people and an organization that has struggled against an oppressive system of apartheid, we do pledge solidarity with the Palestinians. Now, the violation of the rights of the Palestinians that has manifested itself through the occupation of their land, through bringing in settlers so close and into their land, is something that is causing a great deal of concern and has possibly sparked off this conflict that is now unfolding.
We are not here to lie about what's happening in Palestine done by apartheid Israel. That which is done in Palestine reminds us of our difficult past, and we still live with these conditions today. This march is not a once-off march. We'll come here every time Balfour Declaration is celebrated by reactionary forces. We will come here to condemn it, because Balfour Declaration is reactionary. It was a colonizer, Britain, giving the land of Palestinians to the Jews without the consent of the Palestinians. We are saying to Britain, shame on you. You will never be our friend because you are a colonizer. How do you give other people's land through a simple short letter that the rest will see what they do, but you guys, here is your portion. Allocating the land of the Palestinians without their consent.
The Jewish people have lived in the land of Israel, what is now the state of Israel, have lived here and have been attached to this place for about 3,500 years, 3.5 millennia. Now, roughly for 2,000 years, we were conquered by the Romans, we were conquered by the Byzantines. They did a lot of bad things to us, but they didn't really exile us, contrary to what people think, okay? The loss of our land actually occurred when the Arab conquest took place in the 7th century. The Arabs burst out from Arabia, and they did something that no other conqueror, not the Romans, not the Byzantines, not the Greeks before them, not Alexander the Great, nobody did before. They actually started taking over the land of the Jewish farmer. They brought in military colonies that took over the land. And gradually, over the next 2 centuries, the Jews became a minority in our land. So it is under the Arab conquest that the Jews lost their homeland. The Arabs were the colonials, the Jews were the natives dispossessed. Well, that happens in history. The Jews were dispossessed. We were flung to the far corners of the earth, suffered unimaginable suffering because we had no homeland. But we didn't disappear, and we never gave up the dream of coming back to our ancestral homeland. The Arabs who had conquered the land basically left it barren. They never made it their own. It was a barren land. It really had, practically it was an empty land. And in the 19th century, the idea of coming back next year in Jerusalem became a reality. By the way, in part because of Christian Zionist support for the idea of the Great Return. The Jews came back in the 19th century to the land of Israel. The result of this return was that we started building farms, factories, places of employment. Arabs from nearby countries started immigrating, and they now they called themselves Palestinians. They reconstructed history and said, we've been here for centuries. You have no right to be here. It's our land. It's not your land. It's been our land for 3,500 years. If you took over somebody's apartment, knocked them out, dispossessed them, and they never gave up the claim. They said, it's our claim. And you left this barren dump, okay? And the families, the progeny of the people you kicked out came back, rebuilt the house. You cannot come back and tell them, you don't belong here, we're gonna kick you out, especially since you're latecomers who've come to live in part of the house, which is what the so-called Palestinians are, okay? We say to them, you can live here, we can live here, but it's our land, it's our state. And the reason this conflict continues is because the Palestinians, who represent the colonial powers, the Arab conquest of the Middle East and beyond, they're saying, you have no right for a Jewish state. Well, we do. If any people has any right to a state, if any people never gave up their dreams of returning to their ancestral home, the Jews belong to this land belongs to the Jews. The Palestinians are free to live here next to us, among us, but they're not free to demand the dissolution of the Jewish state. That is not justice, that is injustice. That's the shortest lecture I can give you about Jewish history.
So there you have it, guys. Our African leaders are really trying their best to manage Africa's challenges as much as they are. And when we show these speeches here on this channel, we actually encourage to share our thoughts in the comments. And so whatever it is you guys think about these speeches, please do share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please share and like and subscribe, because that's the way you support Kwazemi as a channel, an Afrocentric channel, where we try to understand deeper issues in African history and hopefully develop a collective intelligence on how we wish to build the Africa we want to see as people of Africa. See you in the next one.